and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Haley, do we have any extra agendas?
I'm sorry, what?
Do we have any extra agendas?
I do not.
Okay, no problem.
I only printed one, sorry. Okay.
Do you want me to have Sarah print one out?
That's fine.
Okay, thanks.
Well, Mark, you want to start? Guess we're at 9:01.
I don't see any members of the public, but if they show up, we'll give them time to speak. First of all, folks, down to my right, this is Matt Simon, Matt's with Geno Source, our supervisors, Tracy Seaman, Gary Beershank, and Rick Grimmer, and Gina Edler is our deputy auditor. Matt, we met Matt last Tuesday when we did a site visit doing our review, and told him about it and asked him if he could come. So we're here to do a public hearing this morning because Benton County received a construction permit application for a proposed expansion to a confined animal feeding operation. Specifically, it's the existing dairy located approximately a mile south and a mile east of Blairstown. As Benton County has an adopted construction evaluation resolution on file with the DNR, we're required to complete certain actions when an application for a CAFO, or confined animal feeding operation, is received. These include publishing a public notice, which we did. We have to complete a review of the master matrix as it's submitted by the applicant. We have to score it, and then you have to make a recommendation to approve or disapprove of the application based on the information contained in the matrix and also public comment. Just for the record, the application was received on March 18. Notice was published on March 23rd in the Benton Eagle, and then on March 31st we placed a separate ad in the Benton Livewire to try to give this a little more coverage. Documents that were relating to the application were available for public hearing in the auditor's office in the courthouse ever since they were received. Matt Simon, as I said, is here today, and I see no one else to enter into the record at this point. A little bit of background here. The dairy, as I think everybody knows, is located south of Blairstown. It's in the northeast 1/4 of section 25 of Leroy Township. Geno Source is an existing 2,850 head confinement facility, and they want to expand to 3,950 head, obviously an increase of 1,100, and that's for mature cattle. They propose to expand the existing freestyle confinement barns to house those animals. They also propose to construct a new mechanical sand separation building and a new anaerobic digester system. That includes a digester for the process buildings, pits, pumps, piping, and controls to allow for gas collection and to pump off site. I'd sent you out the design report. I'm not going to take time to cover that in detail for you. Basically, one of the things that I would note about that is that the dairy is also currently permitted for 1,100 immature cattle, and as the application states, they want to take that number back to 750. That's what the proposal calls for. Now, when we visited with Matt and some of his staff last Tuesday, we talked about these numbers. Those are absolute numbers. They may not, if I understood correctly, Matt, they may not get 1,100 animals there all just tomorrow, for example, if indeed there's a permit approval. But those are outside numbers that they're shooting for. As far as the requirements that we have to do, we have to, as I said, look at the matrix that's been submitted, and we have to score that. And when I say we, that's technically Board of Supervisor function. We're performing that task for you as staff. But in respect to that matrix, you can see, and as I pointed out to you earlier, there were 16 items that they chose to seek scoring, or to score actually, seeking points. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16, 19, 20, 22, 25, 31, and 32 of the matrix. There's 440 points that are needed to pass to get an acceptable score for approval on the matrix. And as you can see with the document that was submitted, they of the points that they chose, there were 475 points that they generated. Now, in respect to our review, Matt and I, after our site visit, Matt spent a lot of time going over the actual distances. The distances are measured from what's being proposed at this point. 1,875 feet is the minimum for the closest residence. They exceeded all of those numbers, and they were allowed to take the maximum number of points. Because of those distances, there wasn't any that ended up being deficient or different from what the applicant had actually scored. There's some other items in the matrix that are towards the back in respect to manure handling and et cetera. In years past, when I've had other matrix reviews, one of the things that I've always stated in our scoring analysis, or our comments about the scoring is that if the applicant chooses points and they state that they're going to do something, then that statement needs to become a condition of the permit. And you will see in this matrix here and in our scoring summary that that language is in there. If they say they're going to do something, then that should become a condition of that permit as issued by the DNR. And we've seen traditionally, history shows that the DNR has always done that. So if they're going to do certain things in that facility and they've stated it in the matrix, in other words, they're promising they're going to do this, that's a condition of the permit. And I just wanted to make you aware that that has happened. I've never seen where the DNR did not make that a condition of the permit. That in a nutshell is the scoring. As I stated, what we came up with, same number of points, able to pass 475. The air, the community, the water numbers are all the same as well. So we have no disagreement with that. In respect to that, then that scoring summary, if you approve of that, then that will be passed on to the Department of Natural Resources. We have until April 19th in order to get this put together, and that should present no problem for us, basically. We need to go ahead. We have to show proof that we published this, which we have, proof of publication. We have to submit the scoring summary and a copy of the matrix as we scored it. And then we also have to then have, which when I sent this out to you, the very last page in that packet basically was the scoring summary and the recommendation. And I left that blank, obviously, because there's some work to be done there yet, but Tracy, I would ask perhaps if, once we are done with this later on, we'll go ahead and make it up. Either we could hook up somehow or another, but that does require the chairman's signature on that as far as that paperwork goes. There's nobody from the public here at this point that I'm aware of. Matt, would you like to say anything to the board about you guys' plans for this?
Sure. Basically, I'll just give you an overview of why we're doing what we're doing and kind of how we got there. So the facility's probably about 21 years old. We kind of got to the point where we needed to either invest invest in the facility and make it something to last long term, or kind of let it be and utilize it as much as we can, and, you know, essentially kind of running into the ground. We decided that we wanted to invest in it and make it, fix it, you know, essentially fix it up, put a nice face to it, and also bring in some new technology and make it, you know, kind of something that people from afar can come and see and, you know this. As part of our business, we deal a lot with genetics, so we have tours for people from all over the world, Japan, Germany, Portugal, South America, several different countries, and we also want to improve our image as well as use some more state-of-the-art technology. The sand room that we were planning on putting in will basically capture 96% of the sand. It'll also clean the sand better than our current system, as well as the digester, which will capture most of the methane, also help alleviate some of the smell that is caused by the manure, and as well as improve the facilities and have better cow comfort, or basically do what's best for our cows and improve the ventilation compared to what we've had in the past. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
So you're gonna put in a new carousel?
Well, we were actually contemplating that, and due to the derecho, it kind of forced our hand to do something with the buildings first. But yes, that is in the back of our mind, because if we want to milk that number of cows, we do need to improve the carousel.
You still have the original carousel in there?
Yes. Well, the platform's the same, everything else has been updated at some point.
Yeah.
How do you reclaim your methane? How does that work? Explain that.
So to the best of my knowledge, so all of the manure will go through the sand room, the sand separation room. The sand will they'll basically separate the fibers from the manure, clean the sand, wash the sand, and then basically put the fibers back with the manure. That will then go into the digester. They need a certain amount of solids in there. The bugs will eat away at those solids, and it'll have, I don't know exactly what the design is. It'll have some type of dome or something. It'll capture the methane, and it'll compress it basically into a truck that then will go to, it'll get delivered to a pipeline and then get injected into a pipeline, and essentially go to California.
So there's been other digesters put in, but they were never used long-term. Has the industry figured that out?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, digesters have been around for a long time, and they've had their ups and downs, but the technology, I think, is pretty soundproof. One of the issues has always been just doing it as a utility doesn't quite make sense. The reason this works now is because of the California Low Carbon Fuels Program, and that's guaranteed to be out there for at least 10 years from now. So, we're not putting all the money in for that digester, but the company that is, they have relationships with other dairymen in Wisconsin. We went and seen their facilities, and we have faith in that they'll work and they'll be around for a while.
The reclaimed sand. I was just by there last night. You got sand stacked up on the east side that the Michigan was moving around. That ain't reclaimed sand. It's dug out of the settlement pit, I guess, because it's black.
There is some sand along the east road, if it looks semi-clean, that's been reclaimed. If you look at, so This building we're putting up will be a pretty big building. It'll be way, like, so right now, we take the sand, we basically use dirty water to clean our sand. And so if our water's dirty, the sand is that much dirtier, and then we have to move it about 6 times to let it basically drain. This new room, basically everything will be under one roof. The sand from the day it goes into the sand separation room to the day it goes back in the stalls will be like about 7 days. So it'll be a quick turnaround. It'll be, I mean, I wish I had pictures of it, but it's a much better product for the cows, and we'll have to have a lot less sand as well, so we won't have big piles like that sitting out. We plan on kind of landscaping it all when it's all done.
Where's this building gonna be at? Where are you planning on putting it?
It'll be just south of the last barn, kind of between the lagoon and that last barn, kind of on the west half of the barn.
It's okay.
Were you around whenever the dairy was built?
Right down in there.
We purchased it in 2014.
And the digester shown over here.
Yeah, it's been, just, this is off the subject, but do you keep your calves separate? In other words, you've got cows that are infected
Yep.
with, their, I forget the name of the disease, but and it transfers to the calves. So then the milk from that cow, if it's blended with all the other milk, infects all the calves.
So all of our milk that we feed to our calves is pasteurized to kill any pathogens that can get transmitted. We also separate our bulls and our females because a lot of our bulls can go to AI stud, and we can't vaccinate them with certain things that we can with females because of that, otherwise they won't qualify to get exported. And a little bit of a change over the years from what we used to do to what we're doing now. Like he mentioned the permit, we're putting less livestock or young stock there. Basically just our really important animals, and we've essentially, all of our calves leave, and not all of them, most of them will leave within a few days of age and go to a calf grower in Kansas. And then from there go to a heifer lot in Colorado, and so far we've seen pretty good things with that, just because they have a less humidity, less bedding needs and stuff, and it's worked out pretty well. And then I guess from our standpoint, our goal is to just focus on making milk, and they can do those things better, so we're gonna focus on the milk side.
How's the timeline gonna work, if I may ask, between putting up this sand cleaning building and the dome to capture the methane and the addition of the cattle? It's gonna take time to put all this stuff up, but you can bring cattle in just much quicker.
Yeah, and
So how are you gonna handle this timeline?
So the sand room, if we can get approval, we're gonna go out and start getting bids here right away. And our goal would be to get that up by the mid to end of summer, depending on if we can get, contractors and stuff to get it done by then. The digester is gonna be a little more delayed, whereas it would probably be up and running February was last I was told. As far as cattle, we don't plan on bringing in a bunch of cattle all at once. We're gonna use our own cattle and not bring outside cattle. So basically, as the cattle come in, or as we grow our herd, they'll gradually come in and grow like that, as opposed to just bringing in cattle. Plus, with the way with us outsourcing some of our heifer growing, our heifers that are gonna calf have to come back earlier than they have in the past. So some of those spots wouldn't be for lactating cows, it would be for just pre-fresh cows.
Okay. How long does it, and I'm not I don't know much about farming and or the milk industry. How long does it take to raise your own herd to this level? It's gonna take a year, 2 years?
To the level of the permit, or?
Sure.
So we've always, because of our genetics business, we've always raised more animals than we need, and we've always sold fresh cows to other people because we've never had the capacity. To get to that number, we'd probably take about a year. And then there's some questions about whether to actually milk as many as that are in there, do we need to redo the parlor first? Because that's kind of running into our bottleneck of whether increasing our capacity.
Sure, okay, all right. So it is very feasible that the construction you are proposing, as well as the increase in your herd, could be running fairly close together simultaneously, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I just hate to see everything get increased, yet this other stuff isn't done, and that wouldn't be good for the residents.
Yeah, no, I understand, and we're committed to doing this if we get approval, and fairly quickly, because like, especially something like that sand room, it's extremely important to us to just for the cows' overall health to do that. The less sand you have in your lagoon, the less wear and tear it is on equipment, so it's in our best interest to get this done as soon as.
Yep.
How much sand do you currently buy or use?
I don't have a exact number. I know our current system that we use reclaims only about 70% of the sand. So we, especially during certain times of the year, we do buy a decent amount of sand, and then there's like that end of February spell where it was extremely cold. Sand was just painful to deal with, and having all of our sand in a heated building would help out with that too. We wouldn't have as many issues.
What kind of plan, it don't say anything in this, but the DNR closure plan, what do they got? Is there anything, I'm on the landfill, so down there, we have to put money aside every year on the case that the landfill closes. That there's money there to take care of the landfill for the next 30 years. My question is to you, does the DNR make you have a closure plan? I seen a little bit, it wasn't checked that box.
I do not believe so. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
We have no intentions of leaving if we're gonna stick this amount of
I'm
money.
not insinuating that. I'm just curious that if the DNR makes you have a plan, and evidently not.
I don't believe so, Tracy. I don't think there is any requirement for that at all.
So the dairy could conceivably leave with the pits full, and then
I think that's, basically You've got other dairies in the area as
Right.
well. I mean, it's the
Anything
same
that's-
scenario.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just this one.
No.
Yeah.
But see, like I said, where I was going by, the DNR regulates the landfill, that we have to put money aside that we can't ever touch. It goes strictly to cover the landfill to take care of it. And I didn't know, I see that I just read a little bit about it and it wasn't checked. But that's what I was curious about, if they make you have a plan or something, or,
how much does it cost you guys to pump the pit? I know you're pumping now.
By about 700.
national that's there, and, yep.
Yeah, and we also upgraded a bunch of our pumps and stuff this last fall. So like It's more for somewhat for efficiency, but also for safety standards. So like the pumps we have, I could go on my phone and control them or check out exactly what's going on with them. They also have like pressure relief valves that if pressure is lost in any of the hoses, the gate will shut. And so if there is ever a leak or anything, it's very minimal of what will happen.
Mhm.
So it's a pretty big upgrade compared to what we had, and it's worked out pretty well so far.
Last night when I happened to be driving by there at 6:30, 6:45, I know they must have been switching north of Blairstown there. And the pipe was just starting to get recharged as I drove by, and that was a sight to see where it went from being flat to being charged.
You have a place to put your manure with the increased size.
Yeah, we have, we rent a decent amount of acres. We also work with a lot of local farmers that, we put manure on in exchange for corn silage, and I also have a decent list of people that are willing to pay for it, more particularly in the fall, but one of the other benefits to going to the sand room option is we will actually probably go away with the flume, so right now we have to keep so much water in our lagoon to basically wash the flume system that then washes the sand. Well, we're planning on going to more of a vacuum truck, so the vacuum truck will go in, then dump into the sand room. So then that'll allow us to basically lower the lagoons more and have more space in them than to basically save a bunch of space for water.
How many acres do you normally cover in a spring or a fall?
12 to 1,500 every spring or fall.
I don't have any more questions.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. You guys want to go through the scoring summary, or would you rather dispense with that? What was written adequate enough for you? As far as the matrix?
We've had it for a number of days and we've looked at it. You know, I've asked questions to you regarding that. I don't know that we necessarily need to go through it. You gentlemen have looked at this as well.
I've looked at it, the new building that's south down the road, that's gonna be used for storage.
On the east
East side of the road.
Yes.
Yeah, that is storage for hay and machinery.
Okay, no livestock then at all, okay? Okay, do you employ a lot of people from Blairstown too, or no? Not really?
Depends
I
upon.
guess I would say 90% of our workforce lives in Blairstown.
Okay,
Most of them are, they weren't born in Benton County.
But if 90% of them live in Benton County, you don't have to be born here,
Right.
so.
Well, it's fine.
Yeah.
They're good people.
I don't have any questions, sir. Where do we go from here?
yeah,
Basically, there's no members of the public here to say anything, so then I would ask you to take a look at the master matrix scoring and your recommendation. We've established this morning that the matrix is scored by Benton County also equals 475 points, same as the applicant. So we would obviously say that that's passing score. And then you've reviewed it, we've inspected it for you. So it's up to you then to make a recommendation to the DNR as to whether or not you approve or disapprove of this application.
And from what I understand, even if we disapprove, DNR has the authorization to approve it.
That can happen, yes.
The biggest problem I see is the manure. I mean, if in fact they would close and leave the pits full, we've got a problem as a county.
Well, but that's not just these folks.
That's
I
right.
can think of other operations, whether it's a hog confinement or other dairies or cattle lots, et cetera. I mean, manure is manure no matter
Right, but
what.
if
So,
it's solid and it's a smaller volume, it's not nearly as big a deal. Because you can go in and
Mhm. I know.
scrape it up, but
Well, it depends on who goes in to scrape it up, you know. I don't know that it's up to the county to follow around any hog confinement
Right.
or any dairy operation, you know.
And the problem with hog confinement is you can't get the bottom end of it unless you take the slats up and lower a skid loader down there.
Yeah. So, okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I guess I would just say, I would ask that as a board that you would, if you choose to do this, that you would make a motion and approve the matrix as it was scored by Benton County. And then the second one would be, again, disapproval or approval of the application in general.
I'll make the motion that we approve metric system or matrix as scored.
okay. Do I have a second?
Yep.
Okay. This was by resolution, wasn't it? Or no? No?
No, it doesn't have to be a
No.
resolution.
Okay, that's fine. All right, all in favor of approving the master matrix review of the Genco, right?
Gino.
Gino,
Gino source.
in Blairstown, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And then the recommendation to approve the application.
So moved. You're between a rock and a hard spot, aren't you?
I'll let you off the hook, I'll second it. All in favor of approving?
Aye.
Aye.
He doesn't have to.
Hey.
vote.
Okay.
2-1.
Thank you for coming in and explaining in more detail.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very comfortable with the fact that you have plans to take care of problems that come from having livestock. So,
Just so you know, what we applied for here, we're not done there. We're working with a few different technology providers where we won't, we're hopefully in the next 5 years, we don't have
Or
to
do you want to
No, he's got
say?
the original.
Okay.
process.
Yeah, I did. I'm just keeping it on.
Thank you.
Just for your info, I live about 3/4 of a mile from your dairy in town.
So if the wind's out of the south, you'll know what's going on.
Well, I'm hoping the smell goes down dramatically after the digester. Till it's there.
That'd be a real blessing for Blairstown.
Yeah. No,
Thank you, sir.
Well,
This
that's
is
really the case. That's
over
what-
quicker. We didn't have any.
I'm glad that we're going of your
I
dairy
can't either.
because
So now you
If
got
you're-
time to deal with.
we'd be southeast or northeast.
Are you here also?
It'd be different.
I don't know.
I didn't get a chance to correspond with him.
Parkinson thing.
I
I
wish
have
you
one
the best.
tentatively,
I
made up, but I
Hopefully when
don't
it's all
have
done,
like these
it's
three
something
things.
that
Yeah.
The new driveway and
The
then
town
it
can be
had,
proud of
from my
and
knowledge, it hasn't
hasn't
recorded, so
improves the
I
image
have
of
it
it.
tentatively made up, but I just need like the
Should be
guts of
pretty
it.
cool.
That looks like that'd be right.
Sounds
So
like
I
it's
just
gonna be
need
a
the subject of the new, you know.
real
the-
improvement.
I thought he was bringing it.
That's-
Yeah.
I figured I'd make it up tentatively, you know, just a little bit of it, so it would be less work.
Good
So
going.
I got it started at least for you.
Perfect. Good going.
I was around whenever, I took the calves whenever the dairy first started. We kept them for about
Hang on to that for me.
3 or 4 days. then they got shipped out. And they didn't have any,
I've got everything.
they didn't have anything for the infected cows, nothing. Everything went to all the calves.
Mark's sticking.
I mean, it was a mess.
You know,
I would assume so.
It was,
You are sticking around for this
They're
one?
pretty streamlined
Yes.
now, so.
Is that a time up?
Yeah, is that fine? Because
you ever hear of Lane Bullerman?
Okay.
So I
He
have.
lives in northwest
quarterly
Iowa,
reports if you
has
want
1,000
to look at
calves on milk.
those.
He feeds them in about an hour. He was pasteurizing milk 20 years ago.
So here's 3 quarterly reports.
He
Auditors,
gets calves out of
services,
Oklahoma,
and sheriff.
Texas.
So,
He uses less than 1 bottle of penicillin a day.
That's good.
He's very, very particular on where he gets his calves. I don't even know if he's still in business or not, but,
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're all done.
yep,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate your time. Take care.
You guys have a chance to look at the minutes.
Yep. Motion.
All in favor of approving the minutes? Okay. Auditor's report, I'll hand these around. Take a look.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Everything we need right there. Yeah.
I guess, I'll take a motion for the auditor's report.
So moved.
And seconded.
Okay, all in favor of approving the auditor's quarterly report?
Aye.
You want this initialed on the back side,
On the front's fine.
on the front?
Okay. And the next one that Rick will get was the general assistance quarterly report.
Want me to keep it in file?
Yeah. And then we'll get it together and ready to go.
In the month of February.
Let me get that quick there. There you go.
Want to see Jay?
Morning.
Rick, did you see Sarah's
I
note?
did, thank you.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask the sheriff a question on this, so.
Are you doing the general assistance one now?
Well, that's the one he's got. He wants to take S.
If I may, Sheriff, under the general assistance, there's quite a number of transportation opportunities here that you've done. Now, is this the one where you use a part-time person to do your transports? Is that correct?
You see the reports you got, I'm gonna say yes.
You're not pulling a deputy off of his duties to do that, I presume?
No,
I didn't think so.
no, Mr. Gline.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Okay.
See, some of these are done through the shelters.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, those would be
Pretty well with Russ.
pretty
Okay.
well, Russ.
All
Hey,
right,
Ron.
very good. Thank you.
Rob, come here.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the general assistance quarterly report.
Yes.
All right, all in favor of approving the general assistant quarterly report?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Missed something.
It's okay.
All right. Approve courthouse lawn for Benton Cruz Committee.
For September 11th.
Yeah. That'll give you a few minutes to look for the sheriff's report, I thought, Rick.
Yeah.
That's why I jumped around.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. I'd make a motion that we approve the cruise committee's use of the courthouse lawn for September 11th.
Second. So all in favor of approving?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Need to add an initial too?
I think there's a signature. Not initial. This back page. And I think it's just the check.
Did I do that right?
Make a motion that we, oh, we have to, you gotta bring it up.
Do I have a motion to approve the sheriff's quarterly report?
Yes, sir, you do.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor of approving the sheriff's quarterly report?
Aye.
Aye. Let's jump back up to discuss the hiring of the VA.
To appoint a board member
Yeah,
to the hiring committee.
so would you be interested in that, Rick?
It would be an honor to be on that board.
I'll make a motion to have you on the board.
Thank
With the VA.
Second.
All in favor of appointing Rick?
Aye.
Aye. You're
And
on,
aye.
buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, what can you tell me about this Jennifer Kreitner of Benton Library Board?
The library board, had several vacancies happen and the county appoints one of them. And so, the city is asking, they had Jennifer Kreitner, they had her application. And so they're asking for you to make her the representative as far as you guys appointing her.
So moved.
And seconded.
We got a second to appoint Jennifer Kreitner to the library board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The liquor license, the website got changed, so this looks a lot different.
Marvelous.
Here's the letter regarding it. So if you approve it, you know, there was usually that normal spot to sign it. They don't have that anymore, so if you approve it, just sign the top page for me. But there's a background check that is done by Mark Johnson.
Okay.
So it just looks a lot different.
So moved.
Okay. Motion on the floor.
And a second.
All in favor of approving the Class B liquor license for M Unco Corporation? All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Where do you want this initial at? Or not?
Only the chairman signs the
Okay.
application.
Okay, we missed a couple there. No, that's 10 o'clock. Okay.
The dust control fees, that's what Myron said,
Okay.
or dropped off, so there's those for you.
Okay.
Copies for everyone.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, all things considered, that's not a huge increase. I would have expected more.
I'll move we approve. Alrighty.
Dust control, okay, do I have a second?
You do.
All in favor of approving the 2021 dust control? Benton County, go ahead.
Aye.
Aye.
May we hang on to these?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're
Thank
your
you.
copies, too.
Thank you.
$9.50. 4 minutes, 3 minutes. Any reports, anybody?
Nope.
Nope.
How about you?
I can't remember. I don't think so. No. Nope.
Is Kyle coming in?
I believe so. He sent emails that he was,
Okay.
so I gave you copies of what he emailed Mark
Yes.
and I last night, so.
Mhm.
It's a little more like it. Well,
Yes, it
Yeah, I
is.
thought so. I was wondering where you.
We're talking, what, about an 80% chance of rain tomorrow?
now we're
How much?
You didn't hear that?
No,
No.
I saw it on.
a nice shower wouldn't hurt.
Helps to wash the sand and brine off, doesn't it?
Boy, do we got sand.
I think they're, doing that grave hunt today,
Mm-hmm.
right now.
That's where Myron was heading this
Yeah.
morning, wasn't it?
9:30, 9:45. I'm just curious if they'll find anything.
Well, there's graves there. I know there is. We've got well, the Horatio took the barn, but we've got the tin off the church on our barn.
Hmm.
It's good stuff. I mean, it's good. It's 120 years old and it looks like brand
Yeah, he gave
new.
him the address and the string of emails that we
There
were,
you go. Good, okay.
I can double check, but that's, in those emails, I could have swore I saw that.
It's hard to believe 90 years ago, Highway 30 was a mud road.
A lot of improvements since then.
Yeah.
Just think, a few years you'll be able to say, hard to believe it was just a 2-lane highway.
don't know it, but Highway 30 went in on that diagonal by the highway tower, and then it went straight.
I'm looking in the emails, I don't see
I
it.
don't have your cell number.
Past the High V and
This plat has the business.
on the north side of where old highway, what I consider old Highway 30.
In the courthouse, they would have told him.
Gina said he asked for the address here.
It could've-
Quite a deal.
You're talking through Tama Toledo area there. Yeah.
Now, where I'm talking is in Cedar Rapids. It's been moved twice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They closed the old
That's the other.
Highway 30 in Cedar
I figured
Rapids.
that's the only number I got.
It came out at an angle there on the west side.
Hi, is this Kyle?
Oh, it's
Hey
where,
Kyle, it's Gina. Are you coming to the board meeting?
straight across from, like,
Oh, okay, sounds good. Alright,
you probably don't know where that's at either.
okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Now it's,
That is the number, and you didn't
Yeah,
realize it
yeah,
was
I
on
know
the
it.
courthouse. I thought it was in that emails, but,
So he was at the courthouse?
yeah, so he's on his way.
Cedar Rapids is really growing. Used to be,
Second largest city in the state of Iowa, from what I understand.
yeah, it used to be when I was a kid, the houses didn't even come out to
Yeah.
the
Oh,
corner there where, I think it's where Williams Boulevard, where the McDonald's is on the west side of town, didn't even come out to there. Where the old Kmart was a drive-in theater. Quite a deal. Henry's Hamburgers was just down the street. You get 5 hamburgers and a Coke for 95 cents.
They weren't much, but I remember them.
You do remember?
I remember there was one in Waterloo. Henry's.
I wouldn't get fries because I could get an extra hamburger.
Still keep it under a buck. I just get
5 hamburgers and a Coke.
It's a lot of hamburgers.
They weren't real big.
No.
There was no going inside either. I think the foundation of that's still there.
Here, if they come in, I don't worry. Sit right here, that's all.
How you doing? Okay, Kyle, Mark, I'll let you guys begin.
We hand out some plats, so you guys have something to look at.
He said he thought he prepared the resolution.
You got it? All right, awesome.
Well, I don't have
This, but
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
here you go.
So if everybody's got a copy of the plat,
Thank you.
basically, this represents a final plat, kind of something that we had talked about. I think it's been about 2 months now, for Robbie Cromer. He owns approximately 22 acres, minus a couple of small parcels, and what he's, intention on doing here is, selling, 2 tracts to his adjoining neighbors. One to Tim, one to Chase. Tim, he's getting the smaller lot, which is directly south of his existing parcel. He's just increasing his holdings, and Chase, who's in the northeast corner of the parcel, he's getting kind of that unique lot 2 shaped parcel, just to increase his holdings. At this time, neither entity or it's okay, I'll take this off. Neither person is planning on building anything other than I think Chase would like to improve the property and maybe build a pond. So it's basically just increase their holdings and not to build any kind of new residence or anything like that. So you guys have approved a a variance, I think it was about 2 months ago, in regards to preliminary plat, some of the other items, and so we're here in front of you with a final plat for Cromer's first edition, representing those two tracts of land.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Everything's in order.
Yep, you guys don't have any questions?
Don't have any questions, do you?
There's no land use or anything like that, as Kyle said, no building, so.
I'll move we approve it.
And I will second that.
Okay. And this is by
Thank you.
resolution.
It is by resolution. I don't have the resolution.
That's
done.
fine.
Yeah, miscommunication there. If you want, I can prepare one and I can email it to you and then.
I was gonna say, I have the guts of it started, I just don't have like the fine details, so if you wanna, we can work together via
Okay.
email, get that taken, and we can get the signature later, so.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
We got a first and a
Thank
second
you.
approval of the final plat resolution for Cromer's first edition, so
Primer, aye.
Beer shank aye.
Seaman, aye.
Great, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kyle.
Kyle.
Sorry about the confusion.
No, no worries, going back to Judy Carter and bring back the.
Good morning.
Tracy. You need your hammer?
For what? Yeah.
It'd be like Thor and throw it at people, right?
It's like we're gonna get some discussion.
Good morning.
Morning.
Do we have to be all out here?
It's just been approved.
So then basically this is ready to go. Oops, that doesn't need to be in there.
Hey, what?
What time's Big John on there for?
10:35.
10:35.
Good morning, David.
Mr. Primer, how are you?
I'm great.
Sarah Wagner, we've been expecting you.
Thanks.
The board has questions.
Oh, God. You're fine.
Hello, Sarah.
Pointed questions.
Pointed question.
come on in.
These chairs aren't broken, are they? I don't want to be the one to fall on the floor. Okay, it's all gonna be on video.
Well, if you have a camera, maybe we could turn it in and get $10,000 or something from a video.
It's 10 o'clock, so we'll discuss county buildings and openings. So what can you tell me, the sheriff?
We met with the security committee, and discussed the reopening of the courthouse with a social distancing, place on the first floor for the treasurer's office for motor vehicles. Melinda and I have looked at that, and that is not an issue. We can get the
4 spots in the corners.
around the corners of the rotunda on the first floor. We met with Scott Hansen, and I met with the board, public health nurse director, yesterday. Vaccine-wise, if we just use round numbers, Benton County, 26,000 population. They are a little over 13,000 vaccinations completed at this point. They have a very good distribution network set up. The public health nurse saw no reason why we couldn't do this. She would still like to see the screening of people at the doors, taking the temperature, asking the questions. Didn't think we would have any issues with it whatsoever. To take advantage of the shots that county employees received the second shot on April 1st. She did think it was appropriate if you give that the 14 days and then everything is at its full strength or effect. And that would put us to the 15th of April for a reopening.
Any comments from anybody else?
Well, I think that there were some recommendations by the security committee that would be, first of all, the building has been open. Okay, so it's a misnomer to act like it's not open. But the security committee recommended on April 15th, not counting what the treasurer's office may have to do, but they saw no problem with the building being, non-appointment open to you no longer need an appointment to come in, but they still wanted to see masks and social distancing and cleaning schedules and things like that. And the target date was April 15th because, again, the county employees that are health department, health coordinating getting the vaccine, their second dose 14 days after April 1st is the 15th.
Do we know, David, how many people have had the second shot that are employees at the courthouse? I know some people had it weeks before everybody else.
Barb would have the numbers.
In my group that I was responsible for, we had 42 that were given the Moderna on the second shot on April 1st. So those people have to wait till the 15th. We did have conservation, I believe the sheriff's office, our office, have all been given it way before that.
Barb, without naming any names, how many folks have declined that work in the courthouse proper?
Well, however many we have, I do actually have 2 people that are gone that are going to receive the second shot once they return. But we've We have a few that aren't, I wouldn't say majority, but we do have a few that declined it at the courthouse.
Well, my question was, out of the 42, how many of them ain't all at the courthouse?
No, 42 got it at the courthouse, their second shot on the first. Some of them were secondary road people,
The 2 county employees.
and I had 2 from the clerk of court, the judge, and clerk of courts, the auditor, and,
And we're really not supposed to name names of anybody.
no, they're just not gotten their second shot due to circumstances, but they're going to get it.
Do I have a recommendation from anybody?
Well, I'd recommend that we take the security committee's recommendation and emergency management services, who had consulted the the public health nurse. And it looks like as long as we practice the social distancing, still do the mask and the testing and the cleaning, that we no longer require appointments for the departments in the courthouse other than driver's licensing.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Pretty well sums up what the consensus was from both those meetings, doesn't it?
And the appointments at driver's licensing is so they can sanitize equipment that people have their face
Correct.
right
Well,
down.
plus the DOTs are appointment only, so that helps control the overflow that comes in from the bigger areas.
So that is my motion, sir. And I agree with the county attorney. The courthouse has been open. I've got numerous calls. When are we going to open? Well, it has been open.
People
How-
are just getting frustrated.
Yeah.
And I
How's
hear a
the
lot of it.
court system coming, David? I mean, what's going on? I know it's been busy on the second floor, but third floor, has anything major been going on or nothing yet?
We're having court as usual,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
I mean, the courts, social distancing and taking steps like that, but, we're open,
So are you backlogged at all?
yes.
How long is it gonna take to get that backlog worked through, in your estimation?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know, so. Everyone's backlogged.
So do you want to put that in your motion? You got to have a mask?
I did.
Okay, you did, okay.
Thought I did.
Right.
We did.
Okay, do I have a second?
Yes.
And I also put that it's, we're doing the screening
Yep.
and the cleaning
April 15th.
and the social distancing. And April 15th was their recommendation, so
Okay.
that is correct.
Sanitize
Okay.
and, all that stuff.
You
We
got it?
got a motion, we got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. April 15th.
Thank you. Appreciate everybody showing up.
We're back. We're back, and we're gonna get that updated a little bit.
And that needs to be the spray, whatever sort of stuff they're using.
Yeah, I don't know what it is,
It's
Ron.
probably the same thing like we're using in jail.
Yeah,
You go in, you spray it, it's actually, it's supposed to be a food grade stuff.
yeah.
Are you done with it?
You know, a fancy name for it, I know.
Dioxide? I
Thank
believe
you.
that's what it is.
You guys can hold it.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Barb.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Supposed to work very well for us. We've had no cases.
What about like the railings and things like that? Is there gonna be?
We got left, we got some.
Cleaning of that? Oh, okay. I don't have to-
Talk to Rick about all that.
Take that over, see if it works, if not, let me know.
Ready?
Did you wish to take a break?
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break.
All
Aye. You gonna pause this?
Recess, or
Yeah, it's a recess.
I'm asking if there's a formal motion.
10:30.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
just telling.
Didn't I send you that text?
Probably, but I'm
Yes.
pretty
If I did,
Yeah.
I didn't send it to you, it's still in here.
Okay.
You're just saying.
Gary?
Aye.
So, then, they made a formal motion to recess. Ready yet?
Yeah, we're just kill somehow.
Yeah.
You're at an angle, Tracy.
Am I?
Your motion to go back in?
Okay, do I have a motion to
Yes,
go
sir.
back in the sewer? Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Dana.
Hey, I, hopefully the chief would like to hire Brad Allen, part-time driver. Gonna start out with a B3 license, chauffeurs, have to drive everything but the three biggest ones at this time, and hopefully he'll get, the CDL, once it gets going. That's the plan anyway.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
And seconded.
All in favor of hiring Bradley Allen, the part-time driver?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Want this back?
Well, I can take it if you don't want it, I didn't know if you wanted it or not.
I'll handle it.
Pitch it,
I got it. Thank you.
Did you ever get your, grain bin?
Nope. We got it cleaned up though over the weekend.
You gonna get, you get somebody gonna put it up for you?
Supposed to.
If you got it purchased?
Paid for, no,
No?
but I had two bins, they're supposedly in his warehouse since November of last year.
How large are they?
Huh?
How large are they?
One's a 24 and one's a 21, and then he's gotta fix my third one.
Okay.
Hopefully you get that all done.
I talk to you afterwards about grain bins.
Okay. Now we hauled the roof down Wednesday, hauled some of the walls Thursday, hauled some more walls Friday, the rest of the walls. Now I got the floor on the trailer yet. Just,
Is there any pieces of your floor that any good?
yeah, I saved what I could save, so.
We need some pieces. We bought a floor and whoever was taking it, it was a good floor, but he took part of it to the dump. So I don't know what we're gonna do. We might buy a new floor. And then we'll have some stuff sitting around.
I'm a scavenger that I can't part with stuff, you know what I mean? I just,
You gotta come down and look. We ought to get together. We bought two bins from over on Highway 30 a couple years ago. Oh, a year ago, I don't know. And we had to get them out of there. They had floors in them. Now the bins blew away. We had them staked down and everything, and it just tore everything up. Now we're getting them out of the field and hauling them off. The floors are there yet, though. That was amazing. It took the roof off our pole barn, and these floors were just sitting outside, just sitting there, and it never moved them. Never moved nothing.
well, John,
First, I'd like to apologize. I had initially wanted to get approval to hire Leo Larson as a full-time correctional officer, but it was correctly pointed out to me this morning by Dave that it had not been properly posted. Our postings had been for part-time, not full-time. So I'd either like permission to hire her as a part-time correctional officer, or part-time dispatcher, or if that's not possible, I will come and get another resolution next board meeting for the approval to hire part-time.
Whatever works easiest for you.
What work easiest for me is if I could just cross out full-time in the resolution and just put part-time. And then,
We can't do that legally, can we? We can?
Yeah, you're talking about hiring a person for this position. It's almost as if this is being part-time is a lesser position than full-time. So I think the public has noticed that there was an intent to hire her. She's going to be on a part-time basis temporarily instead of full-time.
And part-time does not need to be by resolution. There's just needs to be motion, correct?
I don't know.
Well, in the past, the part-timers were never by resolution,
Right.
only
Okay.
full-timers,
That's
so.
what I thought.
Well, then, I'll make the motion. Did we-
Second.
Yeah,
Got a motion to hire part-time. We don't have his name,
communication officer
Yeah,
Leo
communication
Larson.
okay?
Leah,
Leah?
lady.
Oh,
Okay. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
So what is her starting wage then?
Since she has previously had experience, we'd like to start her out at 17, I think 17.
The full
Seventeen
starting,
thirty-nine, the,
full starting wage,
is 1739.
I believe so.
What our intent would be to post a full-time position, and if she's still the best candidate, hire her full-time.
Is she gonna work full-time then after?
She will most likely be working 40 hours a week to begin with her training period.
And then move her into
After I correctly post it.
and then move her into the full-time training position.
Okay,
Did we vote?
we voted.
All right. Anything else?
No?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.